Sometimes we receive news of a very serious diagnosis, and it takes all of our 12 powers in order to bring about our healing. And this is just what happened with my friend, Ken Williamson, who's the Unity Minister at Bloomington, Minnesota. Ken, would you like to share your story with us?
Yes, in 1988, October 15, 1988, I was diagnosed with a lung cancer. The news was devastating. I was quite shocked and didn't know quite what to do. But I set out to see if I couldn't impact the disease and help heal myself. I agreed with the diagnosis, but I disagreed with the prognosis. I felt that I had a lot more life to live and that God had something for me to do.
And I understand that you used all of the best that medicine have to offer you, but that you also used many other methods as well. Could you tell us about those?
I found the best oncologist in town, someone who was willing to work with me and to allow me to engage in alternative healing processes as well. I changed my diet. I started to take supplements with my meals, and I paid close attention to the kind of food that I was putting into my body.
And I understand you also put a lot of attention into your prayer and your meditation work, and you worked with others who helped you along this way.
What's amazing, I had been in Unity for quite a while at that point in my life, but I enlisted the prayer help of all of those in Unity and other denominations as well, and other healing practices, including the use of people in 12-step support programs.
And that is so important. So you used your willpower to move forward, to believe that God's good was coming to you.
I did indeed begin to use my willpower in a positive way. I also recognized that I had been using my will in a negative way, that I had been saying negative things to myself about me and putting negative things in my body, which were affirmations in reverse.
They sure were. And what was the result? You used all of these many methods and you learned to grow and to open up. How long did it take you to bring about your healing?
The process was very interesting. It initially started with my being very clear with God about what I wanted to have happen. I wanted the cancer to be removed. I wanted to be restored to health. And then my prayer began to change. Suddenly I stopped praying for the kind of healing that I could visualize, and I started to ask God that God's will be done in my life, that the highest and the best unfold for me. And I really believed in my heart of hearts that the highest and the best would be exactly what was needed.
And that's exactly what happened. You went through many procedures, you had chemotherapy, I understand, so it wasn't easy. This wasn't just a simple prayer and you got well. You really had to work at this.
Several sessions of chemotherapy, surgery, a bone marrow transplant. So much time was spent for me, almost in hibernation. My body was closed down. I was unable to function normally. All I had was my thoughts and my prayers.
And I also understand that during this time, you saw this as an opportunity to open up and to love more. How did that happen?
I became aware that I couldn't stop people from loving me. I had always spent so much time in my life helping others and loving others, but I was not open and receptive to them loving me. Here I was, sick, unable to stop them, to tell them that I shouldn't be the focus. And so all I could do was be receptive to the love that was flowing to me. And I recognized that keeping the love away was part of what contributed to my illness.
That's fantastic, Ken. And so at some point then, God's will for you manifested and you brought about this healing, you felt this healing, and it came forth in your life.
It did indeed. And I recognized that though I had been involved in spiritual practices for many years, that they had only been intellectual in nature, that suddenly I had moved it from my head to my heart, that I was beginning to live this truth that we proclaim verbally and intellectually, that it became so important, such a part of who and what I was, that I actually lived it, I spoke it, I listened to it, I painted it, I planted trees around it. I did everything that I could do to make it a living truth for me.
And now it's been 11 years, you have a wonderful family, a wonderful ministry, you're well past that diagnosis that didn't give you very good odds. What could you say right now? What would be your message now?
My message, as I remember Bernie Siegel sharing with us, that there was no such thing as false hope. I know oftentimes when we are given diagnoses that sound grim, that we think that it's false hope to believe that we can overcome it. But Bernie said to me, there is no such thing as false hope. There is only false no hope.
And so we have hope, and we have will, and we have love. We have all of these powers, and when we use all of these powers together, then we can bring about these healings. Then we can bring about this rebalancing in our life and go forward and share this love and make these choices to help each other and to share with each other. This is the nature of our 12 powers. Develop your 12 powers and bring forth this healing.